Oh, it's going live now. It's going, about to go.
I hope I didn't get that on camera. Oh my God.
Hey, everybody. Hi. Welcome to
Hi.
episode 17 of Meet the Author here on Wisdom Cafe Live.
Meet the
My name is
expert.
Bob. Yes, meet the expert. Yes. Meet the expert. Yes. Absolutely.
Actually, the expert and the author, because she actually gets both.
Yes, she does. So, my name is Bob Choat.
Hi.
I'm the Transformational Grandmaster, and my beautiful co-host is Sofie Nubani, the Queen of Laughter and Wisdom. And I want to say hi to both of you. I'm coming from all the way across the United States here on the West Coast of the United States. And I'm saying hi to you guys on the East Coast and out of Florida. So hi, Sofie in Orlando, and I'm gonna be introducing our guest, Miss Pat Rogers, who hails out of, I believe, the Miami area, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes. So she's known as CEO Pat Rogers. Her expertise is in business, helping to transform those areas and using various strategies. She spent 29 years as a starting off as a correctional officer in a Miami-Dade County area, then later rising to the rank of lieutenant. So, I mean, this is amazing. She was able to progress that far, and I'm sure she's going to be telling us a little bit about that and how it's helped her in her current life. So, she has been able to help people and even accelerating in the last few years on helping both people and businesses in rising to the next level. She's a master at putting together events, getting people together, the collaboration, and even more important, the unity, which she also has an organization close to that same name. And she's done so much. I've seen her across social media in terms of all the different people she's engaged in,
Yeah.
and I can tell you that she's a fireball in terms of what she does. She's so amazing with the energy. I mean, most people, in fact, I know a lot of people. I haven't been in law enforcement myself, and a lot of people that retire from law enforcement, they don't do anything else. They once they retire, that's it. They go off and they go fishing. No, she jumped all in, created this whole all these events and putting the people together. She's actually going at much higher level than she did back here in her law enforcement days. So, Pat, I want to welcome you here to our show, Wisdom Cafe Live. Meet the expert, meet the author, meet everything about you, Pat. So we're so happy to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. I'm happy to be here. Absolutely. Thank you all for inviting me.
It's
You're
our
welcome.
pleasure and it's our honor, Miss Pat Rogers. And she's also known as the Queen of Networking. So,
Yes.
from one queen to the other.
Absolutely. That's
Welcome.
right. That's right. We definitely light up our platforms on social media, you and I. If we're not on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn.
Yes,
That is
yes, that
correct.
is
We do
correct.
make our
And
presence known, and that's what networking is all about. We have to
yes,
get our
you are
Absolutely.
you are a social networker butterfly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes I wonder what I would do if it was not for networking. After, like Bob said, after being retired and all that, I knew I had to do something constructive. And I've always liked people, have a knack for bringing people together. Even in my childhood in church, we would put together choirs would come in because we always had fundraisers at church, raising money for the church. But I never, and then when I worked, of course, having kids, I always had birthday parties. And myself,
Mhm.
even I had one for myself, I would have them for me as well. I love bringing those people together in the backyard, jumping in the pool, and all those things. I was the neighborhood house on the block for the parents, if you will. So the kids always came over, and I love cooking for them and making sure they're happy. I just have a knack for serving people.
Yes,
And
you
it
Got
do.
it.
even and it went even into after I retired. I did not know when I started being an entrepreneur. I did not know that that was what we call a gift until I started investing in coaching. And my coaches, and
Yep.
I would go through my little spiel of because I do market, legal, and identity theft services, and that's all I thought I would be doing, which is a multi-level marketing service. And that's all I was going to be doing, I thought, because I was fine traveling with them. I would travel in my retirement, and I would have something to market as an entrepreneur. And as I went out to market those services, putting up my table as a vendor, going out networking, and I realized the vendors didn't say a whole lot, but you pay the money, stand at the table, and hope somebody comes by, or you had to communicate with them to get them to your table, give a free gift, whatever it is. And what I
Yep.
realized when I was doing that, I realized, you know what? I can put these events together. And I knew from common sense, but I also learned in coaching that it only makes sense to get in front of a multitude of people to
Mhm.
display your service and product as opposed to just doing your one-on-one follow-ups. So it just felt natural when I went out there. That was just that was what I call a defining moment. Those times that I went to those events, it just kind of it inspired the gift that was already in me. And that's when I
Uh,
started hosting my own events, and I started right in my backyard, setting up the tables, putting the tents. I would rent the tables, rent the tent.
cool.
I would feed the people, have about 50, 60, 70 people in my backyard. I paid for the DJ, and that was in around 2014. I retired in 2016, started investing in my coaching, joining organizations in 2015, invested in coaching, and that's when public speaking trainings, and that's when I learned that, hey, you already have a business. All you have to do now is monetize it and stop doing it for free.
Good for
Yep.
you.
So now
And
I
you
Yep.
go
have
to the
helped many others as well with your uh, discovery of your own process of how you were able to transition from corporate America world to being your own entrepreneur and actually be able to retire and do something that you so love and enjoy. And everything that you were able to learn through that process, you were as well sharing it, and now you're teaching others how they can also do the same, which I really admire, because in the past 2 years, we've been very connected on social media, and I've seen a lot
yeah,
of your events and your actual events happening,
yeah,
and the feedback from all your audience was very positive and uplifting to see, because I would sometimes wonder, and I consider myself very energetic by nature, like from God given energy force.
yeah,
But when I look at you, I always wondered, you had that extra, about, I would say 30% more than even the energetic person with all the buzz they could have. That is how you're made from God. Like, that's how
yeah.
you're made.
That's it.
And you're able, I mean, Pat, I would see you in Tampa, and then I would see you in Georgia, and then I would see you right back in Miami, and you're like in California after that, and in such short periods. And I'm like, well, if you just hosted this event, it takes a lot of time and dedication, effort, and follow up. And then for you to be in another event, it's not the same event. It's not the same
Yeah.
people. We're not interviewing the same people. We're not talking about the same event in just weeks apart. We're talking
Yeah.
about another whole new event.
You're
And
right.
you're there. And even going for Miss Florida and all that, I admire your courage, your confidence, and your belief in
Yeah.
yourself, because you know what? It can never be a possibility if that didn't exist within. If you weren't able to see that vision for yourself, and if you weren't able to really want to give yourself the best because
Yes.
you love yourself enough to care enough to put enough time and to also be committed to your mission and your purpose, you won't be able to reach all that. You have to have a
You're right.
passion for that, because
Mhm.
that cannot be forced just because you're energetic, or just
Mhm.
because people. After a while, it will die off if it's not really authentic and genuine. It has
Yep.
to be something you're so loving and you're so passionate about, that no matter what you do, it's like, it's like they say creativity is contagious, pass it on, because no matter how much you create, it's always going to be more that you have, that you're able to create, provided you're creating from a healthy space.
Right.
And that's what I really love about you. And this is why we're so happy to have you on our show, so that you can help those who are listening and viewing this or catching the replays.
Yes.
To give us a little bit of your backstory on the time of how you transitioned, when you faced possible doubts, and how were you able to self-talk yourself out of those doubts and be able to anchor to your mission and hold and be grounded and not to be distracted?
Oh, wow. Sofie, that's a good question. Wow, that's a really, really interesting question. I don't think I've ever really been asked it in that manner. But yes, you're right. We do have those fears, and we do have those distractions that come when we are on a mission. And what drives me when those times come is, first of all, I've always been like this. So anything I set out to do, whether when I was also in the U.S. Army, I did the academy, police correction officers. We had to go through academies. I sang in the choir. A lot of things that I did that, for a first time, and you start off doing it. Anything that's new, you're going to go through those feelings of uncertainty. If it's something you want to do, you're going to start feeling uneasy. You're going to feel, fearful. But what pushes me through those moments is, the first thing that pushes me is, number one, God said that everything that belongs to him, it belongs to me. So my faith is what pushes me. Secondly, what pushes me is other people. People need people.
I love it.
And I always believe that if you can do it, Sofie, and I have a desire to do it, you've already showed me that I can do it too. Because you did it. So that's another thing that drives me. I just believe that anything that and like they all say, it's nothing new under the sun. So I know that if anybody has done it, it can be done by me. Yep. So it's all in the mindset. That's number 3. It's just a mindset. When I make my mind up, and we make our mind up to do something. Now, once the mind is made up, now when the mind is really, like you said, authentic, and it's really made up, and we really believe in ourselves, what's the next thing to do? Now we take action.
Yep.
Not on what we see, not on what I see. I take action on what I believe. What I believe is already mine. The vision was put into us for a reason. The visions were not just put into us just for us to, just to come in and go out. The vision has been given to us because we're creatures of purpose. We're creatures of purpose. And when we know that we have a purpose, then we start working towards achieving those goals that will allow us to be of service to other people. And that takes action. So those are the things that drive me in those moments of uncertainty, and those moments, even times when I feel like I'm tired. What drives me is knowing that somebody, somewhere, is depending on me. Because they would never have called me. They would never have reached out to me if I wasn't important to them. And that's one reason I show up. I always say I get up, suit up, and then I show up. And what happens in the process of all of that, even when I'm tired and I don't feel like, whatever, I do it because I was asked to do it, because I'm important to that person. And that's what I want people to understand, is that when you're invited to go somewhere, or you're invited to whatever, it's not about how we feel. My goals don't care nothing about how I feel. It's about me serving that person. And when we go because that person is depending on us, they needed us, they wanted us in their presence, that's huge to me. That's huge to me. So just going, and then what happens after that, we show up, we get up, suit up, and show up, regardless of how we feel, another door opens. And then another one opens. And then another one opens. And that's what you was talking about. Those doors that kept opening, they keep opening just because I show up for somebody else. And for me too, but I'm just saying. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I like what you said regarding the mindset. And when you said that if somebody's already done it, then they've already set the path. And that kind of reminds me of when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile when they were told that it was impossible. The physiologists back then said it was impossible. But when he broke the 4-minute mile, what happened? Soon after, somebody else broke it, then somebody else broke it, then somebody else broke it. Yes. And even more recently, because I also followed powerlifting and then also strongman contests. And a few years back, there was a gentleman named Eddie Hall, and he lifted 500 kilograms, which they said it was impossible for any human to be able to lift 500 kilograms barbell. So he lifted it, he struggled, and then recently somebody broke his record.
Yep.
So now it's just going to keep going. It's somebody else going to be breaking it, somebody else going to be breaking, because it's up here. It's up here.
There. That's right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was just thinking when you were saying it. It's all a matter of believing in yourself. Yeah. It starts in the mind. It starts in the mind. You know, and I know we've heard it said so many times that the mind is a powerful thing to waste, but our mind is powerful. It's so powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
That leads me to a question. So when you are tired, I just would like to pick your brains because, of course, you're a great example to all of us. How do you show up for you? How do you really show up for Pat? Because with someone who has such a talent, such a drive, such a competitive edge, not to compete with others, but for your own self to get better and better and better and sharpen your skills more and more and more. When you get to that state of exhaustion, because obviously, you know, we cannot be everywhere all the time. How are you able to, or what is your process? How do you handle that? Are you able to handle that? I just wonder because high achievers tend to have a different way processing things when it comes to calming down and being still because they're so productive all the time. So I would love to hear that.
Wow. Well, my answer might be a little bit boring to you all. I don't know if you want to elaborate or want me to elaborate on that, but that's a good question. That is a good question. And I do get to, my fuse it does burn out sometimes. It does burn out sometimes. And, you know, what makes me happy, first of all, that's what drives me when I'm happy. It drives me. What keeps me going is because I'm doing what I enjoy doing. I'm doing when I'm happy. So when I'm happy, well, that's what I'm going. Okay. And when I'm happy, I work until I drop. But I work until I drop. And then I sleep. Right. So there are some projects that I have that I'm working on. I'm enjoying it so much. I may stay up all night and work on that project. But guess what? I'm retired. I get to go to sleep all day long if I choose to. I didn't get out at 2:00 this morning, but I went to bed at 6. So in the long run, I know I'm going to make that time up. Even if I stretch myself, I'm going to eventually, once I get that task done, now that time is mine, my time. And of course I do. I enjoy life before COVID. You know, I love going walking on the beach a little bit. I love going to the movies. You know, I love doing those types of things. You know, and of course reading is always a bonus. But I'm just happy doing what I enjoy doing. And when it's time to sleep, Bill Walsh is one of my mentors, and he always say to us, he said, "You'll sleep when you die." So that means that, and sometimes that urge that I have, that I know that even though that was a comical statement, but it's true. It's very true. And sometimes I feel that I'm so afraid of leaving this world with my legacy still in me. That in and of itself keeps me going. I ain't taking nothing. I want no leftovers. Ain't nothing gonna be left. I'm gonna do it all while I can. Now I'm going in on you. I'm going on you, Sofie. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
We're fine.
there was a time in my life as a young lady, I put everybody before me. Relationships, I don't have to even elaborate on that. You all adults. Then, of course, when I did get married, I got my children. So my point is right now, this point in my life, I learned this is my time. And this is my time to serve me. And I'm going to tell you something. That's not a bad thing when I was investing all my time in other people, trying to make other people's lives happy. Because the reason that happened is because I didn't know who I was. I was depending on other people to make me whole because I didn't know who I was and what I possessed. And as I left retirement, even in retirement, even 29 years in corrections in that department, even when I was in the military the 12 years prior to that, I never knew who I was. I didn't have to because they told me, you get up this time, you be to work. You get off this time, you can go home and get a nap, do what you want to do in between, but you need to come back over here tomorrow morning at this time. When I get to work, you read these policies, read these, and this is how this is done, this is how this is done. So I didn't have to know who I was. So I'm having such a ball, having this time to discover my gifts and talents, and entrepreneurship has allowed me that, as well as my retirement. And I'm excited. And when you see me running like that, honey, I'm trying to make up for lost time because this thing is.
There you go. let me ask you more on that. Number one, I don't believe that you're retired. I don't know. I'm serious. I do not believe that you're retired because you don't do the things what people are supposed to do when they retire, right? Right? You just transition into another life. That's right. Yes, and I can concur with you. And one of the reasons I left the LAPD was because number one, I hated rules and regulations.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then being called Officer Bob because that's who I was. That's not who I was.
Right.
Or Sergeant Bob when I was, or Sergeant Choat, because it wasn't Officer Bob, it was Officer Choat. They used my last name. But so, yeah, I can concur. Once I found myself, and the same thing with you, that I'm not these other things. Now I can discover who I am. I got lucky because I did it earlier in my life when I left in 1981 and just ventured out. And in your case, you're in a rebirth. You were reborn. So
yeah.
You're not retired, you're reborn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that. And Sofie said it earlier. Butterfly. She used that word butterfly. I never forget a friend of mine. I was going through so many politics in the workplace. When I was working, I was going through politics, and he told me, he said, the people don't want to see you spread your wings because you're awesome. And you know what? Sometimes we don't even see the value that we possess because we don't have an opportunity to when we're working in corporate America, that capacity. But it's amazing. But guess what? Other people always see our value. And sometimes that's why I face the politics that I faced in the workplace. Because somebody else saw my value. And y'all know how they do in the workplace. We don't want everybody to supersede us. So what do? We abuse our power over some other people. But of course, that's another story. And of course, I excel in that as well.
Yes.
Because I believe in what's right, and I believe if I do what's right, right has to come back to me, and it always does. So that's it. You're right. I'm retired, but I'm not retired. But it's just that this is my life now. My kids are grown and gone, as they say. They're in Atlanta, and I don't have grandkids. And I am a caregiver for a lady named Marsha. I'm sure you all have seen her on Facebook right now. Currently, right now, she's in rehab, and she should be home when this COVID is lifted up. But Marsha was a gift to me. She was a gift to me, and I didn't even know it. That was when I was going into retirement, right before I retired. God blessed me with her to be there for her, and she makes my life really whole. Just knowing that I'm there for her is enough for me, and she appreciates it. A lot of times in life, when we're there for some people, they don't show appreciation. you know. But she was a gift to me. And when I retired, right before retiring, I told God, I said, now, Lord, I'm going to be retiring and I'm going to have to be by myself. That's what I thought. And God said, no, you're not going to be by yourself. I'm going to give you mine. So y'all know I wasn't talking about a woman, right? I wasn't talking about Marsha to take care of nobody. I was talking about, you know. I'm like, I ain't got no relationship. I ain't gonna be by myself with her. But God said, no, I'm gonna keep you safe. I'm going in. He said, I'm gonna keep you safe. Because you don't make good judgments on that. And furthermore, you do not have a chance to spread your wings and show who you really are to the world and be of service to the people that I have lined up for you to serve. And I ain't mad at God about it. That's my
There you
story.
go.
So that's what
speaks a lot about you, Pat. I love to hear things like that because I really believe that when we serve from our hearts, now listen, we could serve out of humanity, right? Because it's the right thing to do, but maybe you just don't want to do it and you're tired, but you do it because if somebody fell in front of you, maybe you're just gonna jump and pick them up, even if you didn't feel like doing it. But there's a different level of service, and that is the service that we volunteer for prior of it coming to us. We are saying, you know what? I want to serve. I want to give. I want to be able to help somebody. And whatever that person or situation is, when it comes your way, the exchange that is happening between both parties is truly blessed in many, many ways, beyond what you can see or understand. Because even that time you're putting the gas and going and driving to go there, giving up other things that you could be doing to build your business or connect with other things, or maybe go for another walk to the park or something, right? You're doing it out of your heart. It will bring happy chemicals to your body. It's not an obligation. Right. That's why you got to be true to yourself and reevaluate and reflect on what you're doing and why are you really doing it. If you're getting too frustrated about doing something that has to do with service, then you've got to really, really, really visit your intentions and the reason why you even started, and then reassess that, and then go back and do something that you can do better with it, even if you have to stop doing it, because it's better not to do it than to do it with a frown and an obligation, because somebody else, you'll make space for somebody else out there that really wants to do it, and the other person deserving of receiving that kind of love to them. And so I really love that you have that heart and you're an example for others, especially in this time and day. You know, we've seen a lot of great people rising up through this COVID, pandemic, and really they're trying to help each other, just like what you're doing with your upcoming workshop, by the way. And don't forget Bob signed for it. We really want to support it, and we're excited about it.
Yes. And that's another thing, you know, when I was hosting my conference that was coming up in May, and I had to cancel the conference because of COVID. Eventbrite was kind of on me, wanting to know, what are you going to do? You know, you can push the date back or you can cancel the event, but you have to do something. And so I pushed the date back to September. But
I remember that.
Yeah, I did. And what happened was, in the interim, I wanted to have the event. Everybody wanted to have the event. Nobody was bothering me, but somehow God spoke to my heart. And he said, the people are in a crisis. Give them back their money. Give them a refund. Give everybody a refund. And of course, me being who I am and the relationship I have with God, I told him, I said, hold up, wait a minute. I have over $3,000 something out there on cruises. I got money out there on conferences. I have money out there on tickets that I paid for events. Nobody ain't giving me my money back. And God spoke to me and he said, but your name is Pat Rock. He said, and those same people, they're my people, and they serve you then, they'll serve you later. But it's about how you treat the people. Because nobody was bothering me about the money, but it only made sense. And this is what I did. So I sat down one night and I just started giving refunds. People started texting me, why are you sending the money back? Why are you sending? But that did more for me. When people was questioning me at the why I'm giving the money back, that meant so much more to me because it showed me that those events that I host has a lot of value and they do a lot for the people. And again, it's right back to service. And and like you said about this little event, this is my first online event that something God just spoke to me. Okay, just do video training. I have to do something. We all have to transition. So I decided, what am I going to do online? Okay, so I had to go back to the mirror, look at my gifts and my talents. People are always asking me, how do you do those videos? So I said, okay, let me just start doing. I do live workshops, but it's different when I have you right there in front of me and we all helping each other, or I can, come and show you. So I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I want y'all to know that. I'm not comfortable with that at all. But I have two choices. I either stay comfortable and don't do anything online, or I either search myself, check out my gifts and talents, and I take that leap. I have to take the leap. So I'm taking the leap. And I put it out there in a coaching session. Some lady said, oh, I'll pay $10 to come to that to training. And I'm like, those 4 ladies that said they would was all I needed to hear. And that was enough to get me going. So I started the process and I put it out there 2 days later online. I put it out there. And today I have 65 people registered for that. And I still don't know how to do it, but I'm gonna do it. And so it was just, and it wasn't about the money. I just said $10.
And she froze. So yeah, I like what she's got, her attitude. So when Pat comes back, and you can check out her event that's coming up, and it's going to be a really good one. Pat has a lot of great energy and so much more. And
I was like, what I really liked is seeing her transition right online. Because we all know all her action is offline, and she's such a butterfly, social butterfly, always connecting people and networking and doing all that. And then suddenly I'm like getting all these, looking at her stuff, and it's all about, her online events and all this. And I was like, wow, that is awesome. And definitely wanted to support her on that. And I think that the more we do these things for others when they are transitioning through a new chapter of their lives or journey, or experimenting maybe hardship or unusual circumstances like the ones we're dealing with right now, everyone, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to make it a lot softer, more bearable, and it will also build your immune system. Because when you feel appreciated, loved, cared for, connected, your immune system gets stronger. It is a blessing, and you'll be surprised. So even though it might be something you're doing for somebody else, you're still benefiting on many different ways and levels, and things will come back to you tenfold, just if you do it from your heart. And that's a key word, is that we do it from our heart. And that's the main thing.
There she is. Now she's over on the other side there, Sofie. So you're in the center for the first time.
I know. You see, Pat moves. She's a shaker and a mover. She even moved the screens around.
Yeah. I'm glad this. I'm really glad this happened. I'm really glad
now
this happened.
Now we need her voice to be on. It's muted. Check your audio and make sure it's.
No, she is on. Sofie, I can hear her.
Okay.
She's on.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Sofie?
I can't hear her.
She can't hear me?
Sofie, you click out, then come back on. See if you can hear her.
Wait, let me move it. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Bob?
I can hear you. Sofie couldn't hear you. I don't think it's where you were at. I told Sofie to click out, then come back on, and maybe she can. Again, things happen like this. Technical difficulties all the time.
And I try my best not to avoid it, but it just, But I think I'm gonna tell you what I just discovered. I know. Can you hear me now, Sofie?
Yes, yes. Good idea, Bob. Very good idea.
Yep.
Oh wow. Yeah, what I just discovered, it said to me when that happened, I was hoping it was you guys, really. I was hoping it was you. But anyway, what it said to me, it popped up, it says get closer to my router. So even though I have
Oh,
wireless in the house, I guess so when I moved over there, I was able to get back on. So
there you go.
that was a lesson for me. So
Yes.
that's why this thing goes out from time to time because I'm not.
We just gossiped about you a little bit while you were gone. You'll catch it.
Well, I know. Listen, I know you guys are pros at this, so I know y'all know how to keep it going for the audience. Absolutely, yeah. But I was coming back in, and so that was an experience. Yeah,
It always is, isn't it? So
yeah.
Absolutely.
now you're going to be going on using the same platform, correct?
I'm going to be using this platform. I started also a platform to interview entrepreneurs, and my platform will be done on live StreamYard.
Got it.
That particular platform, and that's what the one I've named the Spotlights on You, because it's about the same thing you guys are doing. And I've always liked live videos and stuff like that. So I figured that would be appropriate for me to help entrepreneurs, assist them in getting their faces in the crowd. You know, because just because we're entrepreneurs, everybody's not bold enough to really do a video online or, live video. So this is why I'm doing a little video training, because that little video that we do learn to use, we can use that as a marketing tool,
That's correct.
and brand ourselves with that. And it's also a fun time.
I know of the few people that I'm connected with on Facebook and LinkedIn, very successful business owners, very low engagement in social media. They don't have time for it, and they don't think they need it in their own mind because they're busy at work. They're either a dentist or they're not really putting the time into it. They don't even know how to get on a video. So this will be really a good thing once you get those people out of their shell, because just imagine how their business can scale up even more. And also performing things in a different way, even if you are a surgeon or a doctor. So it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, and what people have to understand is, I don't care what products we sell. It's not about the products, in my opinion. It's not about the products that we sell. People are not going to buy legal services from me just because my name is Pat Rogers. If they don't know me, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And my main goal for entrepreneurs, those who are, like you said, shy and think that it's not important, it's very important that we keep our faces in the crowd. And I know you can attest.
That's right.
Both of you. It's very important, because when the time comes for you to sell something, now people will know who you are, and then they'll possibly buy your. But we have to make those connections online with the people, because it's just like real life. We got to look at it. I look at it as a game. You're not gonna come if I text you and say something to you, Sofie, when you want to be my friend, for instance. I'm gonna come back to you and I'm gonna say, "Oh, thanks so much for connecting with me. What inspired you to connect with me?" And I put a big smiley face. My goal is to start a relationship. My goal is to start a conversation. Everybody don't come back and respond, but then those are the people that I don't want to really connect with, because they're taking up my numbers on Facebook, because y'all know we can only go to so many numbers. So we have to be strategic, but we do have to communicate. Checking a like all the time is not letting people know me. When I come in on your stuff, for instance, people's stuff, I'm just using you. You gonna go to my profile, because now you want to know. Wow, that was nice of her to say that. Oh wow, she engaged in it. So it's just so many ways that we can that we can make ourselves known and build relationships with people. But we got to get over that fear factor. We got to get over that shyness, because it ain't even real. We just got to get over it, because we'll never succeed. And I can't do what you do. I can't get the visibility that you're getting, Sofie, if I'm not willing to do what you're willing to do.
Now there's one. There's.
I see. If I'm not willing, if I want to be like Sofie, I got to do what Sofie do.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can be like Sophie or anybody can be like you in terms of that way. Yet, what they can do is be themselves and express themselves the best
Amen.
way. Now this brings me to a question, and I know that you're going to be addressing some of this in your training. A lot of people have a fear of back camera, of
Yeah,
how to even express themselves. I mean, that's tough for a lot of people.
it is. Yeah.
How did you get past that?
Oh, how did I get past that? I've always liked the camera. First of all,
Ah,
when
okay.
I was a little girl,
He was jumping right in front of it.
huh? Yeah. When I was a young girl, I used to love cameras. You remember the pictures that used to come out of the camera? You take them and you pull them out. Yeah,
Yes.
the
Yep,
Polaroids. I've always
Polaroids.
had cameras, and I've always enjoyed taking pictures in cameras. So I've always, and then of course I told you I used to sing in the choir. So I've always, I'm just going in. I've always enjoyed the attention that comes with it. You
Ah,
know,
got it.
see, because it was a gift. Stay with me when I say attention. It was a gift, but I didn't know it was a gift. And it was a thing that I had where people always say, girl, I love the way you take pictures. Girl, you good at cameras. Girl, you good at. I didn't know it was, I never knew it was going to come to this. I just liked the fact that I had something that people like. But now I realize it's a gift. So what do we do with our gift? We train and teach other people and share our gifts with other people. So it's
Yep.
not something that can't be learned. And when I say do what Sofie do to be like Sofie, I'm not gonna be like Sofie, but I know if Sofie's out there, I'm not gonna be Sofie. But I know if I see Sofie all over the place and I want to be like Sofie, that means that I need to start posting more and showing my face, doing videos like Sofie. I gotta get out if I want to have that disability that Sofie has. I'm just using her.
Yep.
And this
Yep.
is what happens. It's just like a coach. How many times have we coached people that didn't want to follow the instructions that was given them? So if we're not willing to follow what's in front of us, or the guidelines or the suggestions or however you want to put it, if we're not willing, we're not going to make that change. Because remember, feelings, emotion is just a feeling. They go away.
Yep.
And they go away. The fear and whatever of the unknown, all that goes away. The more we do something, the more we take action. But I was afraid when I did my first live video, in a sense. But I did it because guess what? I knew the results that I wanted. I wanted people to see me. I wanted people to say something. And I'm going to ask y'all a question now. How many of us on Facebook and LinkedIn are on there because we don't want people to notice us? Everybody's on
True.
Facebook because they want to be talked to. They want to be noticed. They want to be.
Yep.
It's just a matter of how we get the job done. And when we're in business, it is important that we show up.
Yep.
Consistently, so that we can build those relationships.
That is absolutely true. And definitely is what's now, like what you're doing right now. You took speedy action to transition. You didn't even wait to, I don't know. I think you were, instead of you like trying to figure it out, you just jumped right into it in the midst of it to figure it out. You didn't go and say, hey, how do you figure this out? You went right and got everything out of the puzzle and you're like, okay, I'm going to put it all together now. So you took very fast action. I noticed that about you. And I think that's really what makes the difference between champions and the wannabe champions, because they keep looking at those champions because they're trying to figure out how they did it. And the champions are actually doing it. They're putting themselves out there doing it. And that's what I noticed that you've done. I'm very proud of you, especially in this pandemic time.
Yeah.
Because I saw your event. I saw that you stayed very positive till, mid-April, thinking, you're just going to still do it. And you kept that spirit, but you were flexible. See, when we become stubborn and unrealistic, then we push our luck away too. Because now we're creating resistance. But you were flexible enough in your judgment to weigh it out and say, well, wait a minute, this is close to time. I got to think, ahead, and I got to think safety, and I got to think logic. And before you know it, you transitioned with a positive attitude. That's what I like again. You transitioned beautifully, because I was seeing your post. You see, I like to observe how people are, because you study people's character, because at one point they're gonna come out. No matter how much they hide themselves, the truth shall reveal. At one point you're gonna know if it's really genuine or not. And what you kept doing is you kept your faith, you kept your hope, you kept your positivity. But when you were really faced with a big storm, now it's like, you know what? I got to sail this way. I got to adjust my sail that way so I can be close to shore and more safety and the best for all. And you did that with a positive attitude. And what you did not stay there. Oh my God, look what happened. I can't believe what I'm going to do. This pandemic, look what the business is. And you're talking to 5, 10 other people who are complaining about the same thing that you went through. But instead, you took that emotion. You took that challenge. You took that tension. And you said, how can I get this same thing and produce it in a different way? But now that I don't know how to do that, because I have little experience, but not much enough to lead like I do and I'm good at, I need to really master this by learning. And you started practicing, because I know in Messenger, we would message each other late at night, and you're still working, and I know
I'm still working. So would tell me, go get some sleep.
It's funny, but that's
You both try to tell each other. Wow.
Yeah, and she's telling me to get some sleep, and she's still up too. What kind of
I'm working like you.
What the hell is that? But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be. Awesome. I'm gonna tell you the honest. I'm gonna be honest now on this part. I like everything you said. Everything you said was beautiful. You couldn't have explained it better how the process was for me. But I do want you to know that I did cry in the process.
Of course.
But we know that tears is just a release. When you use that word tension, yes, because now I'm being knocked out of my comfort zone. Yes. How dare you, Cobra? And I'm exercising my faith. But in the long run, when it was all said and done, and this is why we have to have a divine direction and that relationship, that personal relationship with God, our higher power, because we don't always know what's best for us. But when he and I got through talking, and we had it out, and not only that, it made sense to me. And he told me too, he said, you need some rest too. So now you take this time while you're home and you decide what your next move is, which is what you said earlier. So I had plenty of time, just like everybody else, to think about it. And sometimes you got to step out on faith. And again, it goes back to what I said. If I don't see it, I'm still trying to figure out, Lord, how is this going to go? But I'm okay with it. Because I know that if nothing else, when I bring people together, you all are going to walk away with new connection. That's the purpose of me doing what I do. Because I want people to connect with those individuals that's going to help enhance their lifestyle, their life and their lifestyle. With their products and services, with their personalities, whatever, however. That's what I do. And when God gave me 60-some people, those things just kept coming in every day. I knew I was right where I'm supposed to be. I'm not worried about how it come out. It don't matter how it comes out. You know what I'm saying? The fact that all of us are coming together, it's going to be just beautiful. Because if nothing else, y'all going to get $10 worth of laughs.
Yep. Yeah, in fact, Pat, I'm going to talk to you about, are you using Zoom for that?
I'm going to use Zoom for that platform.
Okay, one of the things I'm going to suggest when you do that is that make sure right off the bat, mute everybody.
Oh, yeah, thank you. You are so brilliant. I don't have it on this paper, but I have my little notes and all this stuff, my little notes I'm taking. And that was something I wrote down yesterday when I did my practice session with one of the ladies I was working with. She wanted to get some one-on-one. And I did her yesterday in her training. And I'm glad I did, because now when she comes to the training, she won't be left behind. But I learned a lot of little things from that. And that was one thing, Bob, I wrote on that document that when I come on, I have to, well, Jackie's one of my co-hosts. I have to let her know she's got to mute everybody. We got to make sure everybody's muted.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. At some point, yeah, I do have to mute them, but I'm still trying to make out my schedule, my program, how I'm gonna actually
A lot of
do it.
people
But yeah,
the same to you, Bob, or just me?
Yeah, it'll be if you don't mute, because I've done this before. I've done it even going back 20 years ago when I was doing teleclasses, and we would I would send out a bridge line, and I had all these people that signed up for my class, and I can tell you that my first go round on that was that everybody was talking, and I forgot, and I said, "Oh shoot, what did?" And then I found out somebody told me you got to mute everybody first.
And that's what I'm practicing. I'm practicing all the moves of the little the tools that they have on the system, and all that's a part of it. You know, like you were saying, Sofie, that's preparation. You know, and that's exactly what I've been doing, practicing all the little. Even though it's an easy platform from your side, right now, StreamYard is easy from my side because I'm not working the controls. But now I'm going to be working the controls on Zoom for the first time.
And so if you get all 60 people, and I'm also suggest number 2, that you set out breakout sessions so people can meet each other in smaller groups and talk to each other.
That sounds like a brilliant idea, Bob, but trust me, 2.5 hours, 2 hours from 3 to 5, I would love to use my breakout rooms. I saw that too. And but that's not gonna work, because I'm gonna tell you, when we do that first video, we're gonna leave half of the people behind.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have a lot of questions, and people are gonna be asking, oh, you know, so I'm not probably not even gonna get through all of the apps. I had about 3, and I probably end up doing the only one that I've done a couple times with some people. 2 people I've trained already. But I decided, since we're on the subject, that I'm going to do the next session. But that's gonna be for free for all of those who come to this event. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, and it's very, very smart.
Yeah. So that's my goal. Yeah, because I already know we're probably not gonna get through like I would love for it to go, but it's gonna be fun what we do get done. But I'm gonna open that door, because one thing I want you all to get what I have to offer. And I know we're not gonna get through the 3 apps that I'm bringing to the table. So we're gonna do another session. And that one's just gonna be for those who feel like they gotta come back, and we wanna finish
Perfect.
have some more fun. How about that?
Which leads me to a question regarding what Sofie said earlier, and then you going through the emotional part of dealing with all of this. How much did your background, both in the military and in law enforcement, did that help you or hinder you to be able to go through these challenges?
Oh, wow. Thank you for asking that question. I love that question. Wow, that's easy. Yes, everything that I've inspired and that I have obtained and acquired in my life has been a major asset in my role as an entrepreneur. Leadership is what I've always been, in that role of leadership. In the military, I was a squad leader. In corrections, I was the class leader when I first started the academy over the recruit. And of course, the levels of supervision that I played in the organization, corporal, sergeant, and then lieutenant. I've always been in a leadership role. And y'all know as well as I know, you all know as well as I know, that to be good leaders, we have to be organized. We have to have discipline.
Yes.
And that's where all of this has helped me. And that's why it's easy for me. I have my, like I said, I face the challenges, but it's easy to other people that I can go through some of the things I go through because I've been disciplined for these types of events. And for somebody that possibly has never been an entrepreneur, never worked for corporate America, or never been in the military, and they've been like an entrepreneur all their life, in my own opinion, they lack the discipline. Because if we don't have certain disciplines, we will quit. We'll quit.
True.
But because of my disciplines, and I know that I've been always taught, quitters don't win. Winners never quit.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. And leaders certainly can't quit, because we have to lead by example. And I do believe, I know somebody is always watching you, and watching you. Those are the people that leaders live for. Those are the people that leaders want to lead because they need our energy.
Yes,
So yes,
absolutely.
my past has definitely assisted me in developing me to be who I am today. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for those 29 years that I struggled in some cases with the politics I call it in the workplace. I was passed over for 3 promotions, a sergeant, corporal sergeant, and lieutenant every time I took the exam. I was in the top 10, and I got passed over. But guess what? I knew the rules to the game, and I got my promotion. They had to release it. But guess what? When I went through what I went through, I didn't know why I was going through it because I didn't know what politics in the workplace was. But guess what I learned in the long run before those 29 years was up? I had to help some other employees who had gone through the same thing. And they came to me, Lieutenant Rogers, we know you know your stuff. Why did they say that? Because they saw me go through the fire and I came out like pure gold. And that's why I say, so some of these challenges that we face, it's not about me, it's not about you. It's about what God is trying to do with us in our life and through us so that we can be a better service to other people and an example. That's just what
Yes.
It's funny. I just posted 3 hours ago exactly talking about the importance of discipline for anything to happen successfully and where you can sustain it, not just for it to happen once or twice, but to happen where you can literally consistently expect those type of results to stay the way they are. You need discipline, and it is what a lot of people lack, because discipline alone without patience cannot really manifest. So you really have to go dig deeper on that. And that person, if they have no patience, it's hard for them to stay on course and be disciplined.
Right.
So yes. So by that, if we can cultivate the skill of being more patient, more calm as we are facing our challenges. Yes, cry if you have to. Crying is not bad. Just as important and good laughter is for your body, so is tears cleansing for your system. The only difference is when you're laughing, the emotion that comes with it and the expansion that comes around it is a lot more joyous, and that's all what it is. Otherwise, when you're crying and if you're releasing, and then you are getting, releasing tension, and also something happens, you're reflecting. Once you calm down and you release all that pressure out, you think more clear. So we don't want people to cry, but tears were created for a purpose and a reason. They're healthy.
Right.
It's good to release them. You don't want to hold it inside and have a heart attack or a stroke.
That's right.
Because you want people to release. So I love that what you just said. But for those who are watching, and we are on Meet the Expert show, and we had just a little bit sidetracked on, we wanted you to know, because you're talking to an expert in hosting events and networking. And this same person is right before your eyes now. So if you want to reach out for her, she is the go-to person. But she also now transitioned to another service, which is online as well. And we all know that this is not going to last forever. By human nature, I don't care if it took us 5 more years or 1 more year or 6 months or 9 months, we tend to want to be around each other as a human race. Okay, they want to be connected. They want to go to a restaurant and see other people sitting out there, and they're never ever going to have that experience again in their lives. So we all know that. I mean, I was just driving to pick something from Target, And I, for the first time, because Florida opened restaurants, I was shocked the amount of the parking lot space that was filled up from just
Wow.
the first 2 days of opening, because you
Wow.
have a crowd that is so impatient.
Yeah.
They cannot be alone. They cannot be disciplined enough to go and pursue a passion, a purpose, and stay home and create, because they can't,
You're
they
right.
need somebody to help them, which is fine. We're all here learning from each other. But my point is those events will come, they'll have different structures, more precautions and all that, yes. But they're gonna come back in a different
Yeah.
way. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, the same person who was able to network those events and knows those connections and still maintain the connection while we're going through the crisis, still made her face available and present, so that people know, you know what, I'm good at this and I do it well. I'm not
Right.
shying away from you now because this is a new thing that I'm trying with you guys. So can we give her a hand and help those people like Miss Pat, who is actually transitioning to another stage into their business? Let's all be there for each other in that area, because that's the only way all of us
That's
are
right.
going to
That's
win.
right.
So I encourage anyone watching, and if you're just doing it out of curiosity, courtesy,
Yes.
out of love, out of support to our economy, let's just start from somewhere. Let's all be there for each other in the best way that we can be. Believe me, you one person cannot help the world,
Right.
but many of the people in the world can help you.
That's right.
So if we take turns at that concept, we should not be left out alone and feel cold and feel lonely and feel, not able to go to the next level. We'll be able to continue to charge each other, push each other just a little bit further, united, holding hands, strong and supportive to
That's
one
right.
another, building that
Absolutely.
kind of awareness, that kind of community, so we can transcend all the negative events and challenges.
That's right.
Because if we have a virus and that is illness and sickness, and we're not gonna discount its effect and importance for precaution, but we can't lose half of our country because of fear and the mindset of people being so confused and not being available for each other and supportive to one another. Let's not fall into that trap, and let's continue being glued and fast to one another so nothing can break us out. And we can
I like
do
that.
that
That's right.
Yep.
if we are all taking the same attitude towards this. So that's my message to anyone watching, and share it and spread it out, please. Because like
Eh,
the famous saying of Miss Pat Rogers, people need people. And I can
People
always
need
hear
people.
her in my ears.
Yep.
Yeah. People need
So,
people.
so
Absolutely.
Pat, let me ask you, because now that we're currently in a different world, yes, we're going to have in-person events that are going to come up, and yet, what is the opportunity that you learn going through this challenge and having to set up all these different things? What is the opportunity that you discovered?
Well, the opportunity I discovered was the fact that if my vision, they say sometimes your why has to be so big that it'll make you cry. And I discovered that my vision, if it's really my vision, which it is, I'm going to find another way to make it happen.
Good. Yes.
And that was where the transition came in, because my goal is to set a platform so that entrepreneurs can be seen and heard before the masses, in this case online, live events, and that's my goal, for them to connect with other people. And that is so fulfilling to me. And I'm sure, Sophie, you can attest to that, because I know you've had events. I don't know if you've had events, Bob, but I'm sure you all know that every event that you've gone to, you walked away with a new relationship.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that right there is my passion. That's it in a nutshell. If that didn't happen, my life is not worth serving.
Yep.
But when I see
Yep.
that happen, year after year, and I see people who came to this event, that one event, and I see them connected on Facebook even before the event takes place. You know, because I have a way
Yes,
of bringing everybody into a group on the messenger. I use those tools on the messenger, and I bring everybody in a group, and I introduce everybody. I let everybody know so people come in. Everybody's not crazy about the messenger. I may have one or two people that may take themselves from the group, but what happens is toward the closer we get to the event, people are feeling like they already knew each other.
Yes.
yeah, that's beautiful.
These tools are powerful. Very
Yeah,
powerful.
yes, this is much different. I was going to some of my old material. I went up into the attic, and I found flyers of events that I used to do like 20, 25 years ago, and it was on flyers, and a lot of those I would send out in mailers and everything, and it's interesting how we have better tools now to even pre-sell an event. We can do a webinar prior to a live event, whether that live event is online, like you're doing it through Zoom, or in person. We have better tools now, and I'm so happy because you discovered this opportunity that you can connect with people, even connect with people in other parts of the country and other parts of the world that you would not have been able to
That's
do.
right. He's right. You're right. And that's how a lot of people come fly into my events because they see
Yep.
me online. That's why I say this social media is powerful. And people think they can't make relationships online. The way we present ourselves is what attracts people as well. You know.
Yes.
And before we know it, they may not move. You may not move this one event. Let's take you guys. You and Sofie, for instance. You've
Yep.
never come down or flew in to one of my events. But because we kept that relationship going and with that, because of the common bond, it wasn't about whether you came to the last two or this one or that one. What matters is that if we stick and stay long enough, somebody got to move. And y'all come to this one on live, but y'all coming.
That's
now,
right.
We had not built that relationship and we had just not nurtured our beginning.
Yep.
We wouldn't be here today.
Yep.
This is beautiful. This is what it's about. This is what I want people to understand. It gets better.
Yes.
It's not overnight. Building relationships is not an overnight thing. It's not overnight.
That's right.
And if I'm not there, you can't know who I am. If you're not there, how am I know who you are?
Yep. That's exactly right. Like I would have never met Sofie had like she connected with me. I think it was almost 3 years ago, right, Sofie?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
It's through friends. You know, friends of friends, just like we are.
Friends
just
of
like
friends.
I connected with Tatiana from South Beach. You know, through you, Pat.
Wow, Tatiana, yeah, she's sweet.
Yes, I love her. I love her so
Yes.
much, and I support her posts and even on Instagram. So I support her on her other platforms as well. But that's exactly how we connected, and that's how I connected with many people, and many people connected with me. And what keeps certain connections still going strong and supportive for me personally is when I see my connection is consistently committed to their mission. Now I go the next level and the extra effort on Sofie's behalf to support them.
Awesome.
Everybody else, I will just love them and support them like I would as normal. But when I see someone dedicated and I see they're committed and I see they're so consistent, and I know that they're serving a bigger why for humanity, bigger than me, bigger than you, bigger than everybody, I love to be part of that cheerleading to their mission.
And you do a good job at that.
She does.
She does a good job at that.
Yep.
Because I want to participate in their success. I want them to know that their efforts is being appreciated, even if it's only by me, because I feel I do matter.
I know that's right. No,
you're
right. You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love to see you show up, you know?
From the heart. When you know somebody's supporting you out of love and they believe in you, even if it's that one person, don't you see some kids They could have everything against them, but because they love their mom or dad so much, and their mom and dad are cheering there in the crowd,
Yeah.
that they give it their best, and they don't see
Yeah.
nothing else but that one face that believes in them, and they don't want to let them down. For
That's
an example.
That's right.
So we are the same thing for each other. We're adults now. We are each other's network, social media, family. We are the family of each other. So if somebody's missing for a while, I'm like concerned. I'm like, oh, is that person okay? Why isn't Pat on or something? Like, for example, Pat is always on, even in the hospital.
Yeah.
You would bring that up, wouldn't you?
I mean, Pat, you cracked me up. I have to tell you. Here, my heart is pounding. I'm like, oh my God, she's in the hospital. And then you're doing a funny Snapchat and crack me up. Here, you're still trying to make other people laugh and be happy. While
that was that. Yeah, my doctor thought that was so funny. He says, you know what? He says, I've never seen anybody come out of surgery and want lipstick so they can do a live. When I woke up, I think first of all, I was so happy to be woke. You know what I'm saying? After coming out of surgery. And then my two sisters was there. I was only expecting one to be there because the other one had a knee surgery. So I didn't expect her to be there. So when I saw both was there, I'm like, I'm going live. Where's my lipstick?
There you go.
And
there you go.
That too once. I remember with your nose being broken.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is back in 2013. It was in April of 2013. I had a parkour fail. So if you know what parkour is, you know this. You see these young kids going over obstacles off of buildings and everything.
Oh Lord, I'm thinking of board a 2x4 or something.
Yeah. So I've been doing this for over 10 years. But in 2013, I was standing on top of a rail. I jumped over and I caught my trailing foot because I was talking to my best friend, and I went over the rail. And I did a face slam in the concrete. My whole head was all messed up, and somebody called 911. Paramedics came. My nose was sideways and was all bleeding. And then when I got to the hospital, I was all wrapped up. My face is all ugly and everything like that. And I remember zombies was like really big, right? And I started looking at some of the kids, and I started acting like a zombie. And then I took out my camera and I went on Facebook Live and talking on Facebook Live where people could see my face.
But I'm just saying it's officers and lieutenants.
Yeah.
Hey.
But people like stuff like that though. That's been authentic. They love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But he also comforted them because I was praying for you and I was worried about you and I was just sending you like good vibes. And when I saw you do that, it gave me peace to see that you are at that mindset and you're at that peace. It lifts me up to see that, and that, so that was beautiful. I have a question for you. Yes, absolutely. So I have a question. Out of all the awards, and you're a recipient of many awards, by the way, guys, you can check it on the post that we did on her bio, and you can also go to her website and see a lot of her accomplishments. Miss Pat Rogers has really been dedicated throughout her life to, she's committed to excellence, she's an achiever, and she does not quit. So out of all the awards that you have received, I would like you to share with us I know every one of them meant something because of the effort or the recognition and so forth. But what would you say one award has special spot in your heart and why?
Wow. Also, I'm gonna say I can answer that question. And yes, I've had several awards, lots of awards. Even during my career, I've always got accolades. But the award I'm gonna talk from this entrepreneur arena. The award that I received that meant the most to me was the one when I accepted the opportunity to be in a pageant in California in November of 2019.
Oh, I saw. I was with that.
And the reason I accepted that offer when it came by my email is because I felt within myself I couldn't afford to be in a pageant when I was younger. My mother couldn't afford it, but now I get to live out my own childhood fantasy. So I made a big joke about that. I was excited. I felt like a kid. I'm finally going to be in a pageant. Only difference
There you
was,
go.
the only difference was I had to pay for it.
Okay.
And when I went to the pageant, prior to going to the pageant, I knew we would have a 7-minute speech that we had to do because that was part of the pageant. And I invested in a coach to get my my signature speech. I wanted to get that hone in on that. I knew what my story was. And for years I fought to tell my story when I share. Because your story, you don't really want to share your story. But I was at a point where I knew I had to share my story, and that was part of my story. So I needed to get it in the signature speech because I'm ready now, right? And when I did go to practice with him, he helped me get it together. I went up there with no intention. I didn't even know they had an award for the speech contest. I didn't even know that. I just did my speech contest. I'm that kind of person. I want to do everything right as much as possible. I practiced so much that I memorized it really. And everybody else, for the most part, that was speaking, they had a piece of paper. And she did tell me I could have a piece of paper. But when she told me that I had that paper, I already knew that was what was going to stand me out because everybody going to jump on the paper. And I memorized it and I practiced so much that I had it memorized. And I said that speech, and I was the recipient of I won the speech competition, and
Nice.
that was not on my agenda.
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic.
You're an example of preparation meeting opportunity equals luck, and that is what you did. You prepared.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity was presented, and most people were not ready because they were not prepared, you were. You put effort, you put time. And when this presented itself, you were confident walking into your own strength because you had practiced enough that you memorized it. It became so natural coming out.
It did.
Beautiful.
It did. And I never saw the power in my story until this past year, last year. I didn't see the power in my story because I never shared it really. And when I got it together and shared it, I mean, now it's like people want to hear your story, you know? So
Yes.
everything is a learning and a growth. And yes, we all get in those moments where, you know, some things we don't want to share. We don't want people to know where that happened. That's the past. No. Our past is our story in some cases. And that story is what somebody else has experienced it or has experienced. And when I normally start off in my message, I always raise how many people know about politics in the workplace? And every hand goes up in the room. I'm like, huh? So your story gets easier and easier as you go because now you realize the value of really sharing that story.
Yep.
Oh,
Exactly.
congratulations on that award. And I could see why it's so special to you. In fact, in my upcoming book, Optimize Your Creative Mindset, there's a chapter on storytelling, by the way. Yeah. And part of some of your stories are there. And, you know, we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah. Awesome. You know? Yes. And I also, and I'm writing a book. My book should be out soon. But what I would like for you to share with them, Bob, I sent you a private message. And that is what I like for people to know, those who may want to, if you could just read off that link, if they would like to come to the event. We still have a few seats available.
So what you can do, so Pat, in the comments section after we get off, put down the put the link to the event.
Okay, I can do that.
So already in the description, I do have links to your website, so people can go to your website. But put the link to the event down in the comments section.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those people that are listening in on this, go down into the comment section, and you'll find a link to her event because she only has a few places spots left, only a few. So if you're gonna get it, grab it.
Awesome.
Now.
For some reason, even do your live events. I remember before the events actually happen in like 10 days, 2 weeks even, you're already sold out. I noticed that about you because of your networking skills, and that's awesome.
Yeah. You only see so many people, you know, you always have a goal in mind. And when you reach that goal, you know, Yeah, so yes, that's just the one for the pop-in videos. And tomorrow morning I will be on air. I'll be doing my first interview on this platform, and I'll be interviewing Sherry Martin. She's a social media uh, visionary, and she's been online for over 21 years, and she's made thousands and thousands of dollars online, assisting entrepreneurs in so many
Beautiful.
ways when it comes down to their social media marketing that drives people crazy. And so we'll be interviewing her tomorrow. So I'm excited about that at 11 o'clock. So that's another.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
we're
I'm getting
sending you
there. I'm
all
getting
the
there.
positive vibes to
Huh?
your new integrated journey, and it's going to bring a lot more possibilities and opportunities, because now for some people who really might have wanted to be part of the events in the past but couldn't because of either transportation, time, whatever the case might be, now it's easier at the comfort of their home to actually be participating, still learning, getting the same message, the same feedback, the same value of what content is or was shared. It's just in a different format. So instead of you sitting at the restaurant, now you're taking the takeout and you're eating at your house. We're adjusting to this new reality for now, and we are integrating it, because sometimes there might be something even in the future that you might want to use more of anyways. When you want to do an event, you might do an event once a year versus 4 times. But those online events might start popping so fast. So
that's right. Yeah.
And hey, why not?
You're right, and and you're right, Sofie. And in the interim of all that, people are learning how to use Zoom as well. I already had one lady. She said, "I never use Zoom," but she already paid for a ticket. That's what I call faith. So what do you think I'm gonna do? I told her, "Okay, call me. We'll get you going before the event. I'll give you some one-on-one." And this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about, So people are learning. Another lady, she says, "I'm not text me today." She says, "I'm not that techie." But again, it goes back to what I told you guys, and I said, I'm not talking to YouTube, but I'm talking to the world. People are not coming to this event because they're so excited because they're gonna learn something about a video. They're coming to this event because they already know who Pat Rogers is, a little bit about who I am. I had one lady, she says, "Oh my God, every time I see you, I just always want to wonder what's coming up next." So this is why I tell people you got to show up. That's my whole message. You got to show up.
Yep.
You'll be amazed at the people's lives.
And we're happy you showed up today. And because you know what, Miss Pat, we were supposed to meet last year, and every time you had an event or a book or something.
Yeah. But I was looking forward to this one. Yes, it was perfect. Everything.
So it's worked out great.
I think I was running you down today. Are we gonna meet tomorrow? Today I said, "Are we still on today?" I was running you down. Yeah, I also want to let everybody know that comes to this event that so you ladies and gentlemen would know here, that you have a 30-second infomercial. So I know that was written in the event, right, in the instructions in the email, but a lot of people don't check their emails. They may miss it, but there are instructions in the emails that come to you from me when I host an event, just to help update you on what to expect, basically. And the 30-second infomercial, I want to remind people of that. Because 30 seconds, we're gonna have over 60-something people, and sometimes I throw stuff out there because it sounds good, and I didn't really write it all down first. I didn't do the math. So y'all understand where I'm coming from, right?
Yes.
So 30 seconds times 60. I don't know how much time that is. Y'all do the math. But either way,
30 seconds times. So 30 seconds times 60 is 30 minutes.
Okay, now that's a good point.
But the transition between each one you're going to add in. So now the 30 minutes becomes 45 minutes.
Right. Not only that, no. What it is, the problem is going to be those people who did not practice the 30 minutes. So of course we have a little bell will ring, bam, and that means that we just stop. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, we're gonna have some fun with it though. But yeah, we do have to. But we're gonna have fun with it either way. I think that's part of the fun when you get those people that don't follow instructions. That's always part of it.
So people, get your 30-second infomercial out when you sign up. Before you sign up, think about that. But do sign up, because you'll have fun, like Pat said. And if you already have a pre-made elevator speech, you might be able to tweak that to 30 seconds as well. And so it's going to be a lot of fun.
thank y'all so much for investing in this first event that I'm hosting online. And so, like I said, I'm doing my little song and dance, and we're looking forward to having a nice time. And don't forget that we are giving out the email list. That's a bonus. We don't normally give out email list, but this was a part of this package. Email list is because when we all are transitioning, and I feel like for some people who have not started their email list, this is the time to start. Take advantage.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. So that's why
That's a blessing. And what's your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is, with every challenge, I'm sorry, let me go back. Okay, let me tell you who this is by. This is by really Miles Monroe. I was listening to him one day. I listen to him quite often, but when he said this one time, I just had to write it down, and it just hit me. It hit me in the heart. It was good to me. And he says that with every success comes challenges and hard work. But when we face each difficulty and we overcome them, it should move us into a space that inspires us to achieve even more success. That makes sense?
Well,
yes.
you're applying that. You actually are an example of that. So I see why you chose that one.
Because challenges sets the platform for my success.
Yes.
And when we
see
understand that challenges come, like you said before, cry through it, do what you got to do, rave and holler. But guess what? You got to keep putting that one step in front of the other. You got to keep making things happen, because those challenges that I go through today is going to be this what we're all going through now. It's setting a bigger platform for us for tomorrow.
That's correct. Yep.
Amen.
That's all I'm saying. That's it. And I've learned that through every challenge, it works out for me in my good in the long run.
Yep.
Don't stop me from crying. Don't stop me from being emotional. Don't stop me from complaining. But guess what? In the midst of all of that, I still have to get up, suit up, and keep taking one step in front of the other, and expect the unexpected.
Yes, that is definitely a great advice, and to follow in one's life and to be reminded of, so you can be always encouraged and energized and moving forward. Once, if you believe it, once you understand what something is, what it really represents, it's easier for you to take action upon what you really understand. And that's and you then when somebody speaks something and then you see their actions, and if they're congruent, is because they're aligned. What they speak or what they're teaching is what they're practicing, and so it comes so natural. And you see, like, you chose that quote because look at you, look what you're doing. Look at all the challenges you faced, and look how you are coming about that challenge, and you're solving those situations and coming up with these kind of solutions. So it aligns and resonates with you, and now you want to pass it forward, because if somebody can understand that really well, it might help them adopt that process of handling heaviness and challenges when they do face them. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you all for this opportunity to share my passion as well as my my journey.
Amen.
And I'm just so grateful to be part of life. It's been a nice journey for the coming together for all of us. With time, and here we are today.
So
it's a beautiful thing.
So before we leave, if you want to give just a short advice for the audience, and how people can get a hold of you if they want to reach you.
Well, the advice that I want to give everybody that's listening is to just, again, like I said, get up, suit up, and show up. Now's the time to take advantage of this opportunity, to learn social media if you don't know, get on Zoom calls, take advantage of the little workshop. This is just going to be one of my first workshops. This is I got a lot of stuff in me that I know people would love to know as it relates to social media. And I believe in having fun with it. But the thing of it is, I believe that we're all starting at ground zero right now. So anybody that's kind of skeptical or on the fence or still kind of shy, get over it, because now's the time. We're all in the same boat right now. We're all in the same boat.
Yep.
We all have to learn something new. And that's the, even
Yep.
even the celebrities, they're not used to being on social media. So
That's right.
all of us have the ups on them because they still have to learn. You know, and so this is why I say, so just connect with those people who have what you want, and don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm gonna tell you this. I went to the gas station today. I went to my doctor's appointment today, and when I was leaving, it's like 45 minutes away from me where I go. And when I went over there 3 or 4 weeks ago for my checkup, I stopped at this gas station, and I paid for a car wash. And I forgot that I paid for the car wash, so I rode off. And of course, by the time I'm almost home, I remembered, oh shoot, I didn't get my gas. I didn't get my car wash. So it was too far to go back for $7. I'm not going back. So that was that. So I went to my doctor's again today. And when I was over there, I said I stopped at the gas station because I needed gas again today. That was from the time I filled it up before. And he said, so I went in and I started not to ask the young man. And I said, you know what? I want to ask you a question. He says, what? I said, I came to this gas station a few weeks ago and I paid for a car wash and I forgot to get it. I said, if you don't give it to me, it's okay, I understand, but I just wanted to ask anyway. Is there anything we can do? Is there any way I can kind of get that car washed? Because my car still has not been washed since that time. He said, sure, we'll work it out for you, no problem. Just go ahead and take care of this, because I was buying some other little things. He said, take care of this, and I'll go ahead and give you the code for the car wash. And I'm like, okay. So my thing is, how easy was that to get what I wanted? Simply because I asked. And I think I was shocked myself that he said yes, though. But the bottom line is I followed my heart because I know discipline teaches me that if you want help, you ask for help. So if you want something, you got to ask. And that just by me asking, I ended up getting my car washed.
Yep.
Sometimes we can't sit on the sideline judging people by how they look, what we think. We have to just let that give everybody a fair chance. And just step outside of our comfort zone. Because it's not the other people, it's us that's uncomfortable.
Yep.
Get over it. Get over it. Ask for what you want. Because people are waiting to serve you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great advice. I love that. Love that. And for them to get a hold of you.
And we're happy of your car wash too.
Yes, we're happy to get a car wash.
I haven't been watching much, girl. Yes, it's this COVID thing, honey. I ain't watching no car. But anyway, everybody was closed down. Yeah, so if they want to get in touch with me, they can go to Patricia Rogers 360.com. That would take them, or they can put in Pat Rogers 360.com.
In fact, I do have the link in the description.
Yes, and that would take them to all of my social media sites as well as my website. They can call me. My phone number is there. They can text me.
Fantastic.
Again, yes. So we're excited. We're excited about life, and just we just gonna keep doing what we do.
Fantastic.
Connecting with people is what we do. People,
yes.
And I'm loving every minute of it. And thank you all again for having me.
And
many blessings.
For you and your journey. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
And I'm going to give you a big hug.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, big hug. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight for this wonderful episode. I hope you were able to, well, stay tuned. She's going to post the link in a comment. Grab it right away because she's going to run out. So grab those few spaces that are left. And want to thank you for having been here, for tuning in, for learning through tonight, from Pat Rogers and Sofie Nubani as well. Just want to thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.